Alright guys, today we're going to talk about this AAA pump. It came on my Simpson. I think they call it a Simpson Power Shot. It's a 4 gallon a minute machine. I think it's about 1300 horsepower. I think it has a 1300 CRX, 13 horsepower CRX motor, and I think it's what it looks up at. And it had this AAA pump right here. Now, I have heard tons and tons and tons of bad stuff about these. Normally, it's coming from somebody that's been in the business for a lot of years, and they say they're junk, they're homeowner grade, they don't last, you got to replace them. Basically, they're just garbage. And last year, I'm listening to a YouTube channel, and they're talking about the AAA pumps and just keep dogging it out. And I was like, I was working that day and I come in and I was like, man, why do they not like those AAA pumps so much? You know, I've had mine for a year and it's been, you know, it's been fine. So a week later, I'm saying that, and it starts, one of the check valves messed up in it. Okay, not that big a deal. Had to take these off, and I just replaced it with 6 check valves. I think it ended up costing me, I don't know, $70 or $80, maybe $90. Changed them out. The machine has worked flawlessly as far as pumping water. Now, I had some issues. If you watch some of the farther back videos, I had some issues with the motor surging and up and down. I don't know if that had something to do with the pump. Maybe the pump was going bad and it was messing with the machine. I don't know. I guess we'll see with the new pump if it does it again. So anyway, I just want to say, when I bought this machine, I got it at Tractor Supply. The reason I got the one that I got, my ideal setup would have been a Honda, I think it's a GX 390 with a cat pump. That would have been my ideal 4 gallon a minute setup. But I was on a house wash and my 2.5 had crapped out. They had this one at Tractor Supply on sale, and you know, so I was anxious to get a 4 gallon a minute machine. So I get it home, I unbox it, put it together, and turn the water on. And when I turn the water on, I have water coming out here. And I go, well, what's up with that? Well, then I realized it didn't have a thermal relief valve in it. Okay, so I go get a thermal relief valve. I call back down to Tractor Supply. I tell the guy, I said, you know, tell him what's going on. And he said, well, we sell a plug for it if you want to get a plug. And I was like, I don't know about a plug. And he goes, yeah, you know, it just keeps the water from coming out. So, you know, we have that if you want it. So luckily I didn't go that route. I did buy it. Actually, I think it may still be in the truck. I put it in the truck and I go, you know, that's supposed to have a thermal relief valve in it. That's not supposed to, after I looked at some pictures, I said, that's supposed to have a thermal relief valve in it. So I go out to my old pump, the 2.5, and I take thermal relief valve off of it and put it on here. I run it for last year. I think I ran it, minus the winter, so we'll just say I used it for 6 months, and then one day I'm running it and water's coming back out of here again, and I look, and that thermal relief valve that I had put in just crumbled. Now, mind you, I should have just taken the whole machine back to Tractor Supply. That was my first mistake. I should have said it didn't have that. If it doesn't have that, there's no telling what else it may not have. So just give me a whole new machine. That's what I should have done, but I didn't. So I take it to my local shop. It was under warranty. I took my receipt. They tapped this hole out, put another thermal relief valve in it, and it was fine. A few months go by, then the check valves went out. So, I mean, they were shot. So I replaced the check valves. And it ran good up until this year. I started getting a lot of surging, and like I said, I don't know if that's, engine. I don't know if the pump was going bad and stopping. I really don't know. After doing a whole lot of research, I've been having my whip line here just go crazy with pressure, and then when I put it on a pressure gauge, I was spiking it like 3,000 down to 1,000, and then I realized that even though I love this 0G hose and it has been great, I have to do away with it. This new pump sucks too hard, and I can't have that thin hose. I was just trying to set the unloader on it the other day and didn't even have enough water flowing through to keep everything flowing. And you could just see, the hose would be, out like this, and then it would just go down and go down and go down. And I was like, I've never had that issue before with this hose. I've used this pressure washer altogether now for 2 years. And for those 2 years, I've used that pump. Now, granted, with me saying that, maybe why I had to replace the pump. I don't know. May just been a crappy AAA pump. The next thing about this is this sight glass. I started leaking oil all the time last year, right after I did the check valves. I started leaking oil, and I go, again, what's going on here? So I took the ring off, and this rusted part was down here, and I just twisted it up, bolted it back together, and it appeared to not leak anymore when I did that, maybe for like a day or two. And so I end up having to take these off. Take this off, and replace that O-ring. Nothing looked wrong with the O-ring. It looked fine, but it wouldn't seal. I took it off, moved it around, put it back on, it leaked. So I ordered another one from the same place I ordered my check valves from. Bought 2 of them because I thought, well, if it happened once, it's going to happen again. Took the bolts out, put the new O-ring in, put the cap back on, and it hasn't leaked here since. That's plus. But like I said, I did move the what side had been sitting here for so long. I moved it up to the top. And besides that, I've really not had any issues since I did the check valves last year. What I started doing on jobs is I would take and I'll pull, say this is the house and I'm pulling all the way around. I'll pull my hose all the way around, and then I pull my gun back this way. If I'm parked here, that way I can start it, and I have like a 10-15 second walk to the gun, and then I can go over there and hit the pressure release on the trigger. That way it doesn't overheat. So I've babied this thing since I did put the new O-ring and the new check valves in it. I've babied it as far as not staying on the trigger or staying off the trigger, and it still give out. Some may say, hey, you got 2 years out of a AAA pump, and that's fine, and it just had to be replaced. Some people may say you had to do 2 years, or you got 2 years out of it. Be thankful and move on, and so that's what I'm doing. It seemed like no matter how much I could tighten that, it wouldn't be tight enough, and like I'd always have to keep tightening it up, with my hose on. But this one's going to go to the scrap yard. It has probably 0 part. Well, it has some parts on it that's good, but I don't have this pump. I don't plan on replacing this pump with another pump. I replaced it with that general pump, that big black and gold Mac Daddy up there. It's more, I think, of a professional pump. It has, I know the check valves are bigger. It has an external end loader that can be set, and it just, of course, it costs more than this one. I paid $72 to get that one sent to me in 2 days because I needed it. But I just wanted to give you guys my review of the AAA. I really don't know if I want to say it's good or bad because I've had to mess with it the whole, time I've had it. or I've had to mess with it at times. You know, you just want a pump to be good or bad, and then that's it. Which I know you're going to have maintenance on stuff. That's a given with anything. But, you know, O-ring, check valves, leaking glass, no matter what oil I put in it, it always looked watery or milky. Check valves replaced, couldn't keep a hose to stay tightened to this, and when I bought it new, it didn't have the thermal relief valve. So you know, I'm not going to complain. I got 2 years out of it. I wouldn't recommend, if you're replacing one, I wouldn't recommend replacing it with this. I mean, not at all. I would replace it with something more like that. But this one served me enough, served me well. I made money with it, and so now it's going to the scrapyard. So for all of you guys that are wondering how AAA pumps are and how they work, and it's all the negatives you heard about them. I don't know exactly all the negatives, except for people just say they're not, you know, they're homeowner grade. I just know that people don't like them in the industry. They're always kind of dogging them out. There's another guy in a video that I watched, and I think it's Renew soft wash or pressure wash, and he did the same thing I did. He bragged about his AAA pump in a video, and like the next week or two, it crapped out on him. So anyway, I just wanted to get you guys a review of this AAA pump, what I thought about it, what went wrong. And like I said, I made a lot of money with it. It ran the machine. Now I had some, you know, things happen that I had to get fixed. Luckily, they were pretty easy fixes. I wasn't down too long with it, and I could keep working. But yeah, it just finally give out. And if you didn't watch the other videos, when I said when it blew, it was blowing up above the truck, blowing up and down out the back, or out the bottom. The water must have been coming out that port there, because the water was just going everywhere. So I ended up finishing the house with that hole. This hole was in it, and I finished the whole side of the house, sprayed all my bleach. I come around from the front, and I seen a hole, and the machine was still working fine. And I go, there's no way. But I'm not cutting it off, because I know it'll never start again. So I stayed on the trigger and finished the house wash, and I had one little section left, and it finally just give out to where it just was just barely coming out of the gun. So you know, I don't want to complain too much. It made me some money. It just wasn't as durable as most people would like. So if you get a machine with this pump on it, I'm not going to say it won't last you. Mine did for 2 years, and that's plenty in this industry. So don't shy away from buying a machine with it, but I definitely wouldn't replace it if I had to replace it. That's my time for today.